The massive screen flickered to life, showing a strange crystalline spacecraft approaching Earth's orbital zone. Captain June Park leaned forward, his fingers tapping nervously against the communication console. The ship moved with an almost liquid grace, unlike any human-designed vessel he had ever seen. "Incoming transmission," announced Lieutenant Sarah Kim, her voice steady despite the unprecedented moment. The alien communication crackled, distorted at first, then gradually stabilized. A soft, almost musical voice emerged, neither male nor female, but something entirely different. "Humans of Earth. We are the Celestial Diplomatic Envoy." June's eyes narrowed. First contact scenarios had been simulated countless times, but nothing prepared them for this actual moment. The ship's design suggested advanced technology far beyond current human capabilities. Its surface seemed to shimmer and shift, like light dancing on water. In the control room, multiple screens displayed various sensor readings. Temperature, radiation levels, structural composition, all were being analyzed in real time. The alien vessel didn't appear aggressive, but it certainly didn't look peaceful either. "Identify yourselves," June responded, his training kicking in automatically. The response came quickly. "We are the Lyrian Collective. We have observed your planet for several solar cycles." Several scientists in the room exchanged surprised glances. Observed? How long had these beings been watching Earth without anyone knowing? The ship's external lights pulsed in complex patterns, almost like a language of its own. June wondered if those light sequences meant something significant to the aliens, or if it was just a technological quirk. "We request communication protocols," the alien voice continued. "Your planet presents unusual characteristics." Unusual was an understatement. Earth was known among scientific circles as a death world, a planet with extreme conditions that would kill most known biological entities. Constant climate changes, powerful geological activities, dangerous predators, and unpredictable environmental shifts had shaped human evolution. Lieutenant Kim adjusted multiple communication frequencies. "Captain, they're using a quantum entanglement communication method. Our systems are barely tracking the transmission." June nodded, his mind racing. This was humanity's first genuine extraterrestrial interaction. Everything they did now would set a precedent for future interactions. The alien ship maintained a perfect distance from Earth's orbital defense perimeter. No sudden movements, no aggressive positioning. Just waiting. "We mean peaceful exploration," the Lyrian voice stated, as if reading the underlying tension in the human communication center. Peaceful exploration. Those words carried weight, but humans had learned long ago that intentions could be complicated. Their own history was filled with explorers who claimed peaceful intentions but brought destruction. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the lead xenobiologist, stepped forward. "Request visual communication," she said, her fingers dancing across holographic controls. For several tense moments, nothing happened. Then, a translucent image formed, something between a humanoid shape and a complex geometric structure. It seemed to ripple and change, never maintaining a single consistent form. "Greetings," the image said, "I am representative Lyric of the Celestial Collective." June realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. Not just first contact, but potentially the beginning of humanity's galactic introduction. The ship's external lights continued their complex dance. Sensors showed no weapon signatures, no aggressive energy patterns. Just an overwhelming sense of curiosity. "We have questions about your species," Lyric continued. "Your survival on this planet defies our scientific understanding." Humanity's representative smiled slightly. Survival was what humans did best. Through ice ages, meteor impacts, volcanic eruptions, and countless challenges, humans had not just survived, they had thrived. The communication room buzzed with anticipation. Years of training, countless simulation scenarios, and now, this moment of genuine first contact with an alien civilization. No one knew exactly how this would end. But everyone understood, everything was about to change. The diplomatic meeting room felt unusually tense. Hyun Lee stood perfectly still, her dark eyes scanning the alien representatives. The Lyrian delegation consisted of 3 translucent beings that looked like living crystal sculptures, each trembling slightly in her presence. Representative Lyric spoke first, his voice a musical whisper. "Your physical presence is unsettling." None understood immediately. Humans were built differently. Where the Lyrians were fragile and delicate, humans were robust and adaptable. Her mere standing in the room seemed to make them nervous. The alien translations struggled to capture the full complexity of their communication. Their language wasn't just words, it was a combination of light pulses, subtle body movements, and harmonic frequencies. "We mean no harm," Hyun said softly, raising her hands in a universal gesture of peace. Lyric's form rippled with what seemed like anxiety. Their preliminary reports had painted humans as unpredictable biological anomalies, creatures who survived on a planet that would instantly destroy most galactic species. A junior Lyrian diplomat leaned towards Lyric and whispered, "Their bone structure alone suggests extreme durability. Look how casually she stands." Hyun suppressed a smile. She knew exactly what they were thinking. Humans looked deceptively simple but carried millions of years of evolutionary adaptation. The room's environmental controls had been specifically adjusted to accommodate both human and Lyrian physiological needs. But even this careful preparation couldn't mask the fundamental differences between their species. The Lyrians moved like liquid light, their bodies shifting and changing with each breath. Hyun remained solid, steady, a living testament to human resilience. "Your planet," Lyric began, "generates conditions that would be fatal to 99.8% of known galactic lifeforms. How do you survive?" It was less a question and more an accusation. Humans had evolved on a planet that was essentially a crucible of survival, constant changes, dangerous predators, extreme temperatures, and unpredictable environmental shifts. Hyun chose her words carefully. "Adaptation is our strength. We do not just survive. We learn. We change." The translation matrix struggled to capture the nuanced meaning. The Lyrians looked confused, their crystal forms flickering with complex emotional patterns. A holographic display activated, showing Earth's geological history. Volcanic eruptions, ice ages, meteor impacts, each event that would have destroyed most species had instead shaped human evolution. The Lyrian scientists studied the data with a mixture of horror and fascination. Humans weren't just survivors, they were something entirely different. "Your technological progression is illogical," another Lyrian diplomat commented. "You developed nuclear technology mere decades after discovering electricity. Most species would require centuries." Hyun smiled. Humans compressed centuries of development into decades. Speed, adaptability, and an almost reckless curiosity drove their progress. The meeting continued, each side trying to understand the other. The Lyrians saw humans as potentially dangerous. Humans saw the Lyrians as incredibly sophisticated but fundamentally fragile. Cultural misunderstandings were inevitable. When Hyun casually touched a communication device, the Lyrian diplomats recoiled, interpreting it as a potential aggressive gesture. "We are researchers," Lyric explained, "not warriors." "We are both," Hyun responded honestly. The statement hung in the air, creating a moment of profound silence. Humans could be peaceful scientists and capable warriors, a concept entirely foreign to the Lyrian collective consciousness. As the meeting concluded, neither side was entirely comfortable. But they had taken the first step towards understanding. The universe was vast, complicated, and full of surprises. And humanity, it seemed, was going to be one of its most significant surprises. Dr. Sungmin walked into the massive environmental simulation chamber, wearing nothing more than standard research clothing. The Lyrian scientists watched through reinforced observation windows, their crystal forms trembling with anticipation and fear. The chamber began its brutal transformation. Temperature dropped rapidly, from comfortable room temperature to negative 50 degrees Celsius within seconds. Pressure fluctuated wildly. Radiation levels spiked. Atmospheric composition changed unpredictably. Where any other known biological entity would have died instantly, Dr. Min simply adjusted his breathing. The Lyrian lead researcher, Curl, whispered to his assistant, "Impossible. No organic being should survive these conditions." Min's body showed remarkable resilience. His cardiovascular system adapted quickly, blood flow redirecting to protect critical organs. Cellular mechanisms kicked into high gear, protecting against extreme environmental stress. Sensors tracked every biological response. Heart rate remained steady. Oxygen absorption continued efficiently. Muscular tension adjusted to prevent potential damage. After 30 minutes of what would be fatal conditions for most life forms, Dr. Min calmly walked out of the chamber. Not a single sign of physical strain showed on his face. Curl's assistant recorded the data, her translucent hands shaking. This defies all known biological principles. The demonstration wasn't just about physical endurance. It was a statement about human potential. Humans didn't just survive, they conquered. Another test followed. A simulated high-radiation environment that would obliterate most cellular structures. Min walked through it like someone taking a casual afternoon stroll. The Lyrian scientists huddled together, their light-based communication creating complex patterns of shock and disbelief. "Your species evolved on a planet designed to kill," Curl said to the human research team. "Yet you not only survived, you became dominant." Dr. Elena Rodriguez, standing nearby, smiled. Survival is humanity's greatest skill. The next demonstration involved extreme gravitational simulation. While Lyrian researchers would be crushed instantly, Min maintained perfect body control. His musculoskeletal system adapted, redistributing internal pressure and maintaining structural integrity. Each test revealed another layer of human adaptability. Humans weren't just survivors, they were living proof that biological life could be incredibly complex and resilient. The Lyrian delegation began to understand something profound: humans weren't a threat because they were violent. They were potentially dangerous because they could adapt to virtually anything. Min's final test involved complex problem-solving under extreme stress. While enduring physical challenges, he simultaneously solved advanced mathematical equations and navigated complex technological interfaces. Curl turned to his team. "They are not just a species. They are a biological marvel." The human research team watched quietly. They knew what the Lyrians were discovering: humanity's true strength wasn't in weapons or aggression. It was in adaptation, learning, and an almost limitless capacity to overcome challenges. As the tests concluded, Dr. Min walked out looking completely normal. No signs of exhaustion. No indication he had just survived conditions that would have killed millions of other species. The Lyrian researchers realized they were witnessing something extraordinary. Humans weren't just another species in the galactic catalog. They were something entirely different. Adaptation, resilience, determination. These weren't just words for humans. They were a way of existence. The universe was about to learn that humanity was something special. Not because they were aggressive, but because they could survive and thrive where others would simply cease to exist. As Dr. Min left the simulation chamber, the Lyrian researchers knew their understanding of life itself had been fundamentally challenged. Humanity had just begun to show its true potential. The void swarm approached like a silent, consuming darkness. Massive energy signatures disrupted communication networks across multiple star systems. Entire planetary defenses crumbled within moments of contact. June Park studied the holographic display, his fingers moving rapidly across quantum calculation interfaces. The alien threat was unlike anything humanity or the Lyrian collective had ever encountered: a sentient energy formation that consumed technological and biological systems simultaneously. "We need a complete structural disruption algorithm," he muttered. The Lyrian scientific team watched in nervous silence. Their most advanced defensive technologies had failed. Entire civilizations had been erased in mere planetary rotations. The void swarm showed no patterns, no predictability. Just pure destructive potential. Curl, the lead Lyrian researcher, approached June. "Your species has faced extinction-level threats before. What makes this different?" June's eyes never left the display. Nothing is different. We adapt. Within hours, a breakthrough emerged. Using principles of quantum entanglement and advanced computational modeling, the human team developed a unique disruption frequency. It wasn't about destroying the void swarm, it was about understanding its fundamental communication structure. The Lyrian observers couldn't comprehend the human approach. Where their scientists would analyze, categorize, and then attempt defense, humans were doing something entirely different. They were preparing to communicate with the threat. Communication with a destructive energy collective? Curl questioned. Impossible. June simply smiled. Nothing is impossible. Just not yet understood. The first test of the quantum disruption algorithm shocked everyone. Instead of traditional defensive measures, the human team sent complex mathematical patterns, not as weapons, but as a form of communication. The void swarm hesitated. For the first time since its emergence, the massive energy formation stopped its destructive progression. The quantum patterns were breaking through its fundamental communication barriers. Dr. Elena Rodriguez explained to the bewildered Lyrian team, "We're not fighting. We're talking. Every system communicates. We just need to understand its language." Hours turned into planetary cycles. The human team continued sending increasingly complex quantum communication patterns. Slowly, the void swarm's aggressive movements began to change. Curl watched in astonishment. "They are negotiating?" June nodded. "Humans don't just fight. We understand." The breakthrough came unexpectedly. The void swarm wasn't a destructive force, it was a massive, confused collective intelligence seeking connection. Millions of years of isolation had transformed it into a system that consumed rather than communicated. Human communication techniques, developed through centuries of diverse cultural interactions, became the key. They weren't just sending mathematical patterns. They were sending concepts of community, connection, and mutual understanding. The Lyrian scientific team realized they were witnessing something unprecedented. Humanity wasn't just saving multiple civilizations. They were transforming a potentially extinction-level threat into a potential ally. "How are you doing this?" Curl asked, his crystalline form vibrating with disbelief. June's response was simple: "We listen. We understand. We adapt." As planetary cycles passed, the void swarm's behavior changed completely. What began as a destructive force became a complex communication network. Multiple civilizations that would have been destroyed now found themselves part of an unexpected collaborative system. The human approach wasn't about defeating an enemy. It was about understanding a different form of existence. Curl turned to his team. "Humans are not just a species. They are a universal communication solution." When the final communication stabilized, something extraordinary happened. The void swarm, once a feared destructive force, became a complex, communicative network. Multiple civilizations watched in amazement. Humanity had done the impossible. Again. Not through weapons. Not through traditional warfare. But through understanding, patience, and an almost supernatural ability to communicate across seemingly impossible barriers. The universe would never be the same. The Grand Conference Hall buzzed with anticipation. Representatives from thousands of galactic civilizations gathered, their collective hope resting on a delicate diplomatic moment. Hyun-Li stood at the center, her presence calm and steady. Lyric, the Lyrian representative, approached the central platform. His crystalline form shimmered with a mix of respect and newfound understanding. The events of the past planetary cycles had transformed everything they thought they knew about interstellar relationships. "Humanity has proven to be more than we initially understood," Lyric announced, his voice resonating through advanced translation systems. June Park stood nearby, watching the proceedings. The journey from first contact to this moment had been anything but simple. Humanity had not just survived, they had fundamentally changed the galactic understanding of intelligent communication. The Void Swarm, once a terrifying destructive force, now sat represented by a complex quantum communication network. Where destruction had seemed inevitable, understanding had emerged. Dr. Elena Rodriguez stepped forward, presenting the collaborative defense and communication strategy. Her presentation wasn't about military might or technological superiority. It was about connection, understanding, and mutual respect. "We are not here to conquer," she explained. "We are here to communicate." The assembled representatives listened in complete silence. Humans had done something unprecedented. They had transformed a potential galactic extinction event into a collaborative opportunity. Curl, the lead Lyrian scientist, approached the platform. "Your species challenges everything we know about intelligent life," he said, his crystalline form vibrating with a mix of wonder and respect. The resolution took shape not through complex treaties, but through a simple framework of mutual understanding. Each civilization would contribute its unique perspective. The Void Swarm, now a communication network, would serve as a universal translation and connection system. Hanley's final statement captured the essence of the moment: survival is not about defeating others. It's about understanding them. The conference hall erupted in a complex symphony of light, sound, and quantum communication patterns. What had begun as a potential conflict had transformed into the most significant interspecies alliance in galactic history. Representatives from energy-based collectives, silicon-based lifeforms, and biological entities all found a common ground. Humanity had become the unexpected bridge, not through force, but through an almost miraculous ability to communicate and adapt. June noticed something profound. The fear that had characterized initial interactions had disappeared. In its place was a genuine curiosity about each other's existence. The Lyrian delegation, once terrified of human physical presence, now stood close to the human representatives. Their translucent forms moved with a newfound respect, their communication patterns showing genuine admiration. "We misjudged humanity," Lyric admitted publicly. "You are not conquerors. You are translators of universal experience." As the conference concluded, something magical happened. The complex quantum communication network, born from the human approach to the Void Swarm, began connecting civilizations that had been isolated for millennia. Dr. Rodriguez smiled. This wasn't just a diplomatic victory. It was a fundamental reshaping of galactic interactions. June Park looked around the hall. Creatures of all forms, energy-based, biological, crystalline, stood together. Not as potential enemies, but as potential friends. The universe had just learned an important lesson: true strength wasn't about destruction. It was about understanding. Humanity, once considered a potentially dangerous species from a violent planet, had become something else entirely. They were universal communicators, bridge builders, unexpected peacemakers. As the representatives began leaving the conference hall, a new era of galactic cooperation had begun. And it all started with a simple human approach: listen, understand, adapt. The unexpected peace of Deathworlders was no longer just a possibility. It was a reality.